A Saturday evening a few years back. A friend's birthday, 20, maybe 25 people in an apartment with not enough chairs. The music is not loud, but it is constant. Conversations layer on top of each other. Someone laughing near the kitchen, a debate in the corner, a story being told across the room that keeps pulling people in. And somewhere around the 40-minute mark, a familiar thing happens. The walls seem to close in by a centimetre. The laughter becomes sharper. Every sentence that needs a response starts costing something. A micro effort that was free when the evening started but is now expensive. The body finds itself drifting toward the hallway, not to leave, just to find a pocket of silence, a reset. Most people who experience this know it well. They have a name for it. They call it introversion. But here is the thing that nobody in this conversation seems willing to say. That feeling, that drain, can come from two completely different places inside the brain, and one of them is not introversion at all. Last week we covered 3 mechanisms: why the brain prefers home, why it replays familiar content, and what happens when it opts out of social media. All 3 involve the same principle, a nervous system managing its stimulation threshold. Today the principle is the same, but the territory is more dangerous. Because the question is no longer just how your brain manages input. The question is whether the label you've been using to explain it is accurate. Mechanism number 1 is the one we already understand. Sensory fatigue. The cortical baseline is high. External stimulation stacks on top of an already active internal process. After 30, 40, 60 minutes of social input, the system reaches threshold. Overload signals begin: irritability, a desire to withdraw, difficulty concentrating. A physical sensation of shrinking. This is Eysenk's optimal arousal theory in real time. The nervous system is not rejecting people, it is rejecting volume. The signal has exceeded what the processing system can handle. Reduce the signal and recovery is fast. Go home, close the door, sit vigilance, and within 30 to 60 minutes the system resets. The fatigue lifts. You might even feel social again by morning. The key signature of sensory fatigue is this. The exhaustion is proportional to the amount of stimulation, and it resolves with rest. It has no emotional residue. You do not think about the people afterward with dread. You just needed the noise to stop. Mechanism number 2 looks almost identical from the outside. Same party, same 40-minute wall, same drift toward the hallway, but the internal process is completely different. This is not about stimulation overload. This is about relational threat. In attachment theory, Bartholomew and Horowitz formalized this in 1991. There is a pattern called avoidant attachment. People with this pattern have learned, usually early in life, that closeness carries risk, that depending on someone leads to disappointment, that vulnerability is an exposure, not a connection. Their nervous system does not treat social interaction as stimulation, it treats it as evaluation. Every conversation is a low-grade assessment. Am I being judged? Am I performing correctly? Am I safe here? And the exhaustion that follows is not from the noise, it is from the vigilance. The amygdala is not responding to volume, it is responding to proximity, and the difference matters enormously. Here is where the neuroscience makes this concrete. Blackford and colleagues found in 2009 that people with high social inhibition show heightened amygdala reactivity not to loud or chaotic social environments, but to novel faces, new people. The amygdala does not care about the noise level. It cares about the threat potential of unfamiliar humans. For someone with sensory fatigue, a room of close friends at moderate volume might be perfectly fine. For someone running attachment avoidance, even a quiet dinner with one new person can trigger the same exhaustion. Same label, tired after socializing. Completely different neural signature underneath. And this is the part that makes the distinction matter for real life, because the two mechanisms require completely different responses. Sensory fatigue needs rest, reduce input, allow processing, recharge, standard introverted recovery. It works, it is legitimate, it is neurological housekeeping. Attachment avoidance does not need rest, it needs the opposite. It needs slow, controlled exposure to the thing it is avoiding, closeness, vulnerability, the risk of being seen. Rest for someone running avoidance does not recharge, it reinforces the pattern. Every time the avoidance system escapes a social situation and feels relief, the brain learns proximity equals threat, withdrawal equals safety. The loop tightens, and the person calling it introversion has no reason to question the loop, because the word itself provides a perfectly comfortable explanation for a pattern that might not be comfortable at all. So here are 3 questions. Not a diagnosis, not a clinical test, just 3 lenses to hold up the next time the exhaustion hits and you reach for the word introvert. Question 1. Does the fatigue resolve with rest alone, a quiet evening, some silence, a book, or does it come with a lingering relief that you escaped something? If the relief is about silence, that is sensory. If the relief is specifically about not being seen anymore, not being evaluated, not being close, that is attachment. The texture of the relief tells you which circuit fired. Question 2. Does the exhaustion scale with the number of people and the noise level, or does it appear even in small, quiet, safe groups? A calm dinner with one friend, a walk with someone who knows you well? Sensory fatigue is proportional to stimulation intensity. Turn down the volume and it eases. Avoidant fatigue shows up regardless of the setting, because the trigger is not noise, it is closeness itself. Question 3, and this one is the hardest. When was the last time you let someone see you struggle? Not your ideas, not your humour, not the carefully edited version that works in public. The actual struggling version, the one that does not know the answer and is not performing competence. If that question produces a flash of resistance, not mild discomfort, but genuine resistance, a quick inner no, that is worth noticing. Because sensory fatigue does not resist vulnerability. It is indifferent to it. Only avoidance resists it. Only avoidance needs to keep the mask in place even when the room is safe. None of this means one mechanism is real and the other is fake. Both are real. Both produce genuine exhaustion. Both deserve attention. But they are not the same circuit. And the tools that help one can reinforce the other. Rest heals sensory fatigue. Rest deepens avoidance. That is not a small difference. That is a fork in the road disguised as a single path. And the only person who can tell which fork they are on is the person standing there, tired, reaching for the door, and willing to ask what is actually making them reach. The point is not to pathologize being tired after socializing. The point is precision. A label is only useful if it points to the right mechanism. If it points to the wrong one, it does not describe you, it hides you. And your nervous system deserves better than a comfortable label that keeps you from asking the right question. On Wednesday, people who take everything to heart. The science there says something you probably should not expect. Sensitivity has a mechanism, and it is not what most channels tell you it is.